To my brain, my heart, sports talk with Mike. I love sports. If you haven't learned that by now, I'm not a good teacher. My favorite thing about sports is when it's a close game and the game is won in the dying seconds. For example, in the NBA, 2 games, the Denver Nuggets won on a game-winning shot. Last night, the Clippers and Chris Paul did the exact same thing. In hockey, overtime's exciting, but it also gives me a heart attack. I actually love it when a team scores with less than 10 seconds left and the game's tied. So instead of going to an overtime, a team scores to win the game. I like a game being finished in regulation. In the NFL, it's a game-winning touchdown or an interception that occurs when there's no time left on the clock. And then in baseball, it's a walk-off hit or a walk-off home run in the bottom of the 9th. I enjoy watching all that happen. It doesn't need to be my team. I'm just so excited, so pumped, so into it. Like, that's what I enjoy about the entirety of the game. That's why I watch the whole game, just to really watch the end of the game, to see the outcome, and that excites me. That's just really it's like eating a hamburger, and I'm a guy that likes his hamburgers a lot. But today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the 5 top enforcers in the NHL. My opinion, who I think. Also, the toughest job in each of the 4 major sports. My opinion as well. Now, there's 5 for the enforcers. I'll go with the first one in no particular order. I'm not going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because it's tough to even come up with the top 5 anyway. I'm going to go Brennan Prost of the Montreal Canadiens. When I watch him play, I see a decent skater. I see a guy that's going to give it his all every single shift. He contributes offensively here and there, which benefits his team. He is a tough-nosed mofo. He knows how to chuck the dukes. He's just a tough character. I mean, I look at him and his face, he looks like he's mad all the time. When he smiles, I think he's even madder. And his fights, they always it looks like he's throwing boulders, not fists. Sean Thornton of the Boston Bruins. I look at him as a guy that's really adopted his role. He's taken it to another level, whether it be fighting, getting under the skin of his opposing players. So, drawing in penalties, he does a great job at that. He creates havoc when he's on the ice. So, I mean, how could I not put him on my top 5 list? Jared Boll of the Columbus Blue Jackets. He's just a feisty young guy. He's just full of energy, full of love for his role. I mean, loves to fight. I don't know if he loves to fight, but when he fights, he looks like he's enjoying it. But he's not. I find he's not a dirty player, and the best enforcers aren't dirty players. They know how to do their job really well, and he's one of those guys that just every time he's on the ice, I know he's on the ice, whether it be laying out somebody or just getting in someone's face. I like that about Jared Boll. George Peros and his mustache in Florida. I respect him so much because I know he's an educated man. He went to Harvard. So, I mean, he's completely educated. So he knows to stay in the NHL, he needs to do a bit of the dirty work. But he doesn't do it in a bad way. I mean, he sticks up for his teammates, for fights. He's not really a big body check. He doesn't lay people out, but he finishes his checks. And when he does so to make sure that these guys know it's George Peros. So you got to be careful when you're on the ice. Therefore, the opposing team makes mistakes. That's what I find when I watch George Peros on the ice, and it's not often because I mean you don't see a lot of Panthers and Ducks games on the TV, but when I do see it, he's causing a lot of drama. I like that. And the last one, Cody McLeod of the Colorado Avalanche. He's always top in penalty minutes, and it's not because of dirty. It's just that I think he's from Manitoba. So, I mean, those guys are rough head guys anyway. He loves to fight. I mean, when he smiles, he has no teeth. He looks like a 6-year-old who's lost all their teeth, waiting for their adult teeth to grow in. He throws his body around, big body checker. Like all enforcers, sticks up for his teammates. He has no problem. He doesn't back down. And this year, he's actually having a very good offensive year. So, when an enforcer is not only doing his job but contributing in other ways, that makes a really good enforcer. And because I want to talk about the toughest guys in the NHL, I figured why not name the toughest job in each sport. Again, it's my opinion. I mean, people would say that the toughest is the goaltender in hockey, or in basketball, it's a big man or a point guard. But this is, when I watch the games, this is where I feel without these guys, the team would crumble. So we're going to start off in Major League Baseball, and I think the majority of people, if you poll them, would say it's the catcher, and I think it's the catcher. There's no other. I mean, pitchers. Yeah. It's harder. It's hard for them, but they pitch every 5 days, and guys in the field. It's not that. It's the catchers. It's the wear and tear of them behind the plate. I mean, bending down for every single pitch. Their knees. I don't know how they do it. I can't even bend down to pick up. If I drop a sucker, I go get another sucker. There's no way I can. It's just my knees are bad. These guys, they do it pretty much every day. And catchers usually play 130 to 145 games. I don't know how they do it. Knees, back, it's insane. They have to catch a pitch that's being thrown at them 90 miles per hour or above. I mean, that's going to hurt your hand. I mean, to be able to do that. Also, they got a guy swinging a bat, so there's a chance that they can get hit by this bat. Foul balls, they're always getting foul tips in their areas. Guys, you know what I'm talking about. You don't want that at all. Also, they're calling the entire game. It's like if, I mean, you got some good bats, right? But a great catcher calls a great game. He picks the spots that the pitcher, I mean, if the pitcher listens to the catcher is going to control the whole game. He reminds his fielders where to go. I mean, he's got to throw base runners. He's got to block any guy coming home if he gets the ball. He's got to take a nasty hit. He's got to make sure he's blocking the plate and taking the guy. There's a lot of work that comes with being a catcher in Major League Baseball. Next up, we'll go NBA. I think a bench player is the toughest job in the NBA. Now, big man, I mean, they're big men running down the court. That's pretty difficult. But to be a bench player in the NBA, your job is simple. You go on the court to rest the starters. You need to get on there and just kind of make sure the game doesn't get out of hand. So, you know that your job is on the line every time you go out there. If you don't stop the other team from taking a big lead, or if the ball's stolen from you, or if you're not contributing here and there. I mean, as a six man, that's what I'm talking about. Like, congratulations to J.R. Smith for winning the six-man award. Marc Gasol for winning the Defensive Player of the Year award. I had him in the top 3, but I didn't have him winning. Oh, and Paul George, he won the Most Improved Year of the award. I am mad because I actually thought Stephen Curry should have won it. But back to the toughest job. These guys, they don't get they don't get a lot of time on the court. So when they get on there, I mean, they have to take that opportunity and run with it. You want to contribute offensively. You want to make the stops defensively, and problem with that is it's harder to stay in the game when you're not contributing. So I mean, if you're on the bench and you're watching everyone, it's exciting to see your team win, but you want to be the guy out there, and eventually it gets harder and harder and harder. So that's why I have the bench guys, the ones that really have the toughest job in the NBA. In the NFL, it's easy. The offensive line, all of them. I mean, you got strong men barreling down at you, pushing you, shoving you, doing everything possible, even illegal, to get to the quarterback. You have to protect this one man. And a lot of the times, you have to stop not just one guy, but two guys, sometimes three guys, from getting at your quarterback. And, I mean, you got guys that are covering the blind side. Those guys are important. I mean, so they're stopping two of the strongest guys, the defensive linemen. And, I mean, they're sitting there, and they're really just going at it. I know, like, I'd get barreled over. So these guys, I mean, it's non-stop. You can see by the end of the game, they're entirely beat. And I respect that about them. I mean, to go out there and you're putting your body at risk. I know the quarterback, he has to trust you because if they get hit, it's going to hurt. But he's not getting hit and pushed and shoved every single play like you are. Like, the offensive linemen are getting beat down hard. But they continue to do it, and I applaud you guys. I clap louder, but it's a room, it would echo, and I hope you get the gist of it. Offensive linemen, you guys are needed. And finally, in the NHL, I don't think it's the goaltender. I think it can be one or two, but it's a shutdown defenseman in the NHL who has the toughest job. Now, as a shutdown defenseman, that's it. You aren't expected to contribute offensively. If that happens, nice. That helps, but it's not expected of you. As a shutdown defenseman, you need to stop the top performers and any performer on the opposing team from scoring a goal by any means necessary. You have to block shots, hard shots, so you're risking injury every time. You're putting your body out there. You need to lay body on body. You can't let a guy pass you. You need to put him on his ass, or make sure that you get him off the puck. Because if you don't, you're right there in the spotlight. You've just been beat, and you're the reason that the guy now has a breakaway to your goaltender. With the shutdown defenseman, it's a lot of hard work against the strongest guys on the other team. They have to face the top lines, and they don't get a lot of recognition because sometimes their plus-minus doesn't really mirror their play, because, I mean, they're out there playing major minutes, 25 to 28, sometimes 30 minutes a game, and the body's going to get wore down eventually. And I mean, you're just on the ice more often than not, and you're expected to this, and you're expected to shut these guys down. And when you don't, it's the fault's on you. I mean, just for example, Greg Zanin for the Colorado Avalanche. He's one of the leaders in block shots. He's a small guy, but I mean, his plus minus is like -10. But he at least tries. You can see the heart in his beard. I mean, he plays hard. He skates hard. He does everything he possibly can to stop the opposing team from scoring a goal. And that's kind of the role that I played. And I found it very difficult because when a goal does occur when you're on the ice, 9 times out of 10 you're the one to blame for it, because you were outskated or outworked along the boards, or I mean, the goaltender is obviously the last resort, but as a defenseman, like the shutdown guys, they're kind of the great wall, the brick wall that protects the queen or the king as the goaltender. So I mean, like without these shutdown defensemen, goals are up, and they take a beating. They get wore down, just like the catcher in baseball. He gets wore down. A bench player emotionally wore down, and even physically, because when they get on the court, they gotta go boom, 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 because they need to show what they can do in limited minutes. And then the NFL, the offensive line, they're just, and that's what it is. It's the positions that have the most physical work. That's where I think the tough jobs really come in. I mean, there's emotional jobs. I mean, as an enforcer, you don't get a lot of minutes, and you know what your job is. You know what you got to go there to do. So emotionally, that's tough. Physically too, because you're taking some poundings with some fists, right? But these are what I feel are the toughest jobs. And I want to know what you think are the toughest jobs in each of the sport. Do you agree with me, or do you disagree with me? Yeah. But that's it for today's episode of My Brain, My Heart Sports Talk with Mike. The Mooseheads, they're rolling. Hopefully they continue their streak, and Nathan McKinnon just continues to get better. Jonathan Drouin as well, because I'm thinking the Avalanche might get one of these two fellas. Enjoy your Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday.